Raheem Mostert to score a touchdown this week is going to be one of my Flex Friday plays. I have more coming at you today. Let's go. Here's the deal, my friends. Just had my first back-to-back losing days since November 27th and 28th. Hopefully the previous 22 days of deliciousness makes up for a couple of down days. Now let's get back to the W's, starting with Raheem Mostert. Oh, and before we get to that, thanks for hitting the like button. And anybody that drops a comment down below, many thanks. Now, the Raheem Mostert pick, yes, it's there on PrizePicks. I'm course taking it there. I like the over one rushing touchdown going against the Dallas Cowboys, who are not the same team when they're on the road than when they're at home. And they're on the road this weekend in Miami for a 425 game. We got a 49.5 point total. Miami 1 point home favorites. And Raheem Mostert leads the NFL in touchdowns. I'm taking this one. I love it. Let's talk about a few parlays I'm going to be taking alongside of this because I think there's tremendous upside of using Raheem Mostert in parlays this week. And I posted, I believe, 10 inside Discord because last week Raheem Mostert won us a plus 1,400, plus 900, plus 550, and a plus 600. Yes, he was involved in 4 different parlays, banged home all 4. I'm doing it again this week. I'm just punching my chips in the middle, and I'm hoping that Raheem Mostert scores again. Now, let's dive into the data, and let's look at those parlays, and then we'll get back to the PrizePicks Flex Friday video. All right, so I went to the Raheem Mostert chart on the optimizer, and I'm actually going to type in TOU because I'm going to look at the touchdowns. I'm just going to look at player touchdowns. Check this out. So this is Raheem Mostert, and I've told you guys this is how I expect you to use the odds finder. Super simple. You know, a capper on Twitter, on YouTube, myself, we say Raheem Mostert touchdown. You don't just open up 6 different apps to try to find, is he on PrizePicks? Is he on Underdog? Is he on Fliff? Is he on DK? Is he on FanDuel? What's his odds on MGM? That's archaic. Just open up mysparry.com, type in Raheem Mostert, and you can see it all on one screen. You can see all 10 books, and you can try to find out what is the best play for you. So for anytime touchdowns, he is available on Underdog as well, and we know that PrizePicks, they just label it different. It's rush plus receiving touchdowns, essentially an anytime touchdown. So we know it's available on PrizePicks and Underdog, and check out the odds. Juiced on Fliff, juiced on DK, juiced on Caesars, juiced on MGM, Pinnacle, and FanDuel giving you fair odds. I took it on FanDuel. I posted that in Discord yesterday. Over a half a touchdown, minus 115 on FanDuel. Now, here's where it gets fun. I also like this. I like the idea of taking Mostert and pairing him with CMC. These guys are touchdown machines. In fact, Raheem Mostert has scored in 11 of 14 games. He's had 2+ touchdowns, my friends, in 3 of the last 14 games. And even better, he's had 2+ in 6 of 14 games this season. Dallas Cowboys just got wrecked by the Buffalo Bills on the ground, and it's not like it was their first time. They've been getting beat up all year on the ground by opposing running backs with just about 1 rushing touchdown per game. These two have combined to go 23 of 28. CMC has only not scored in 2 games. Mostert has only not scored in 3. Give me that nice little plus 175 parlay. And again, listen, we know these guys are touchdown magnets, right? Well, check this one out. This is totally a dart. Plus 4,667. This is Mostert scoring 2+ touchdowns for his 7th time in 15 games, needing Tyreek Hill to score for his 11th time in 14 games. That's right. He's only gone 3 games without scoring. And then Achane, we need to score for the 5th time in 8 healthy games. So pretty good hit rates on their own right. Now, if you really want to have some fun, and these are all darts, you need to understand this. I think this is a really good one. I honestly do. Mostert has scored 2+ in 6 of 14. He scored 2+ in 3 of the last 4. And y'all know CMC can score at will. He has 2+ touchdowns in 5 of 14 games. So Mostert actually more times has he scored 2+. That's a plus 2,240 parlaying those together. Now, back to PrizePicks. I told you I wasn't going to leave you hanging. I'm going to take care on this Flex Friday. I got another pick here for you, official pick. And then I want to actually dive into the optimizer and find some value picks that I think are decent for the day. It's going to be Tobias Harris, over 10.5 first half points, rebounds, and assists. So this won't be in the NBA tab. It's going to be the NBA 1H. We got to scroll to the right on this. This line's just too low. He's over in 20 of 27 games this year. That's 75% of his games. And he's a first half player. He really is. When you look at his averages for the first half and the second half, he actually plays fewer minutes in the second half because there's been so many blowouts. He also takes fewer shots in the second half. And you know why? Because if they do make it to the second half and the starters are out there running a lot of minutes, well, that means the game's really close. And you know who takes over when the game's really close? Joel Embiid. Yeah, we're not fading him. Just not a guy I'm taking an under on the points. Saw that on Twitter this week, a huge blow up about it. Listen, let me give my spin on this. I don't care what anybody's tweeting. I don't care what they're writing. I don't care about their verbiage. Y'all can do what you want. You tail who you want. Be smart. If you don't like it or if it bit you, be smart. It's up to you with what you're tailing, what you do with your money. What I can tell you is this. A lot of times when you're talking about a superstar who is on a heater, the best play sometimes is to not play it, right? We got a line today, and I wanted to talk about this because this matters to me. We're actually going to bring up Joel Embiid on the Odds Shopper, and I want to talk about his line. So I'm clicking NBA, and I'm going to do it live because I want you to see how easy it is. All right, so Joe Schmo tweeted out, take Joel Embiid's PRA today. Okay, so you go to mysparty.com, you click the optimizer, you type in Joel Embiid, and you can see all of his markets for the day. And I see, okay, his PRA is at 53.5. To the over is juiced on DK. Pinnacle's minus 150. Oh, that's BetMGM. Pinnacle minus 116. BetMGM, blah, blah, blah. All right, but maybe I like the under. Okay, now if I do like the under, or so-and-so said take the under, well, which book am I going to take it on? Well, if you pay attention, you can see right there, DK plus 110. This gives you more money if it hits than this, a minus 130. That's a very easy way to describe what these odds are going to mean. The closer to a plus number or the higher the plus number, the more money that you get if it's correct. Now, why did I want to talk about him today? Because it's absolutely outrageous. His player points today is at 35.5. This is his second highest player prop in the season for the points. Last game was 36.5. That was his highest. Today, 35.5. You just listen, yes, he could go under. He absolutely could, maybe even will. But the play probably is to just either take the over because he's Joel Embiid going for a second MVP, playing out of his mind right now, or it's to fade. And I'm going to look at the data against Toronto, and I know it off the top of my head. I know that he has not done well against Toronto in years past. I guess just not ceiling-wise. And I'm pulling it up on the side while I'm talking. And yeah, he's been at 34 or fewer last year and this year, had 28 against them. So he's had 34 or fewer in all 5 games. There's a lot of people probably going to look at this and be like, well, taking the under. You can. Sure, you could. If you really choose to do that and you want to and you're feeling brave, you want to ride the lightning. But it's unnecessary. This is NBA. What do we have? 7 games tonight? There are so many player props. Betting against the reigning MVP to not score a bunch of points and break the trend against Toronto of 5 games being under. Good luck. I'm not interested. And I will say this as well. I talk trends and data and stuff on here, but they're not the decision maker. Trends betting is a dangerous game because the books are adjusting for that. The lines are set appropriately. You have to make your assessment based on the odds and is it worth investing into the risk to get that return? And then you have to weigh, does the data, do the trends, do the projections, does the matchup, do all of those things as the other half of the puzzle? The odds are the one, everything else is the other half. Does it make sense to take that direction? So trends are only one aspect of one half of the equation. Don't get it twisted. All right, so we're going to turn off the select pick'em site. I don't want to look at all sites. I'm going to do one site at a time. You could go do sleeper if you want and go find the best. Here's your very best NFL play on sleeper, Terry McLaurin. All you got to do, you have optimizer on, highest to lowest, click sleeper. But we're doing PrizePicks today. We're looking for Flex Friday plays. All right, number one play on the board right now is not this one. This is a round number, fade round numbers. They're bumped. All of them are always bumped. I don't touch these. So Marquez Valdez-Scantling is actually the number one play on the board. Vegas at KC, under 1.5 player receptions. You can see it's juiced on virtually every single book. FanDuel no lines, 58.76% implied probability that he goes under 1.5 receptions. Now remember, the recipe is looking at the odds, looking at the return, and on sportsbooks, it ain't worth squeezing for juice like this. On a site like PrizePicks, it's a little less relevant because we are only caring about getting that certain payout, maybe a flex 5 or a flex 6, and getting a 10x or 25x return. And the odds are not baked into those payouts because they're fixed payouts. So for us, all we care about is the implied probability, which is just averaging up this, and it gives us an edge over the books. Very simple way to explain it. Let's keep going. Data says this is a 50-50 toss-up. Set the over in 7 of 14 games. Last game against the Raiders, he had 1 reception. He's been running about 28 snaps on the last 7 weeks. So snap count's been going down since the first half of the season. And the targets still remain, averages 2.7 targets per game. Not a high catch rate guy, so if he does go out there and get 3 targets, there is a good chance he goes for 1 catch. Let's keep going, though. Noah Gray, same game, under 1.5 receptions. Same team. That's interesting. I'm not entirely sure if that's something I feel comfortable doing. Probably would pick one. Noah Gray. He's over at 8 of 14. Last game against Vegas, he had 3 receptions. We've seen tight ends in recent weeks rack up catches, so maybe this is one I fade. I don't know. Totally up to you what you want to do with your money. Again, just trying to find some researched plays, and you take it away. You make your choices there. These are all interesting plays. I mean, the tackle assist market, I think, is always very soft. You could find some really good options here, almost on the regular. The problem is it's a little bit up to the discretion of the scorekeepers. This is not like watching somebody make a 3-pointer. Like, it's guaranteed those 3 points are on his final score sheet. So NFL tackles, man, you'll have 3-4 people rack up the tackle, and the scorekeeper will give it to 2 people. Jalen Thompson has been under in 7 of 12 games. He's been over a lot more recently, but honestly, what matters the most here with these tackle and assist props is really just the juice. Anyways, I want you to go through this. Tajay Spears under 2.5 receptions, juice like crazy. There's a lot of interesting plays right now. I mean, these are pretty legit, some of these options. And go through these, make your decisions on how you want to play this. And let's look at NBA, because I think NBA is what most of you are here for. You don't want to wait for your plays for Saturday or Sunday. You want your Friday action, and I don't blame you. So let's do it. I'm clicking on NBA, show 250, and going to go to PrizePicks only. Let's get to it. Spencer Dinwiddie over 3.5 boards, a 58.48% implied probability. That is very high that he's going to hit the over for rebounds based on the math. That's a decent number. He's hit the over in just under 60% of his games this season as well. Denver does limit opposing point guard assists, so I do wonder if we see Dinwiddie trying to get involved in other ways. I think what makes this a little convoluted is the fact that Dennis Smith Jr. is potentially returning today. And I don't know how he's going to take away minutes if the rotation changes a little bit. But with DSJ, he was only playing 29 minutes per game. And without him, he's playing 35 minutes per game. So is he going to lose 6 minutes on his rotation? Maybe not. Maybe not, because Ben Simmons is also out. But if we're just talking the math-based game, yeah, that's a very nice edge over PrizePicks. Tyler Hero, there's only 3 sportsbooks for these odds. So I'm not touching it. Same thing here for Steph Curry, under 3.5 turnovers. Not touching it, even though I do like that play. Mikal Bridges over 4.5 rebounds. I would not take Dinwiddie and Bridges in the same game. Absolutely not. Same game, same team, same player prop market. Pass. Easy. Dennis Schroeder under 1.5 threes against the 76ers. You can see this juiced on 6 books. I do like that a lot. 58.26% implied probability that occurs. Toronto's been really tough on opposing point guards for a while now. I highlighted this in another video. Toronto and Philly have played each other twice this season, on 28th and the 20th of October, 2nd of November, and he had 4 and then 1 in those games. He's been under in 15 of 27, 56% of the games. I think one of my favorite things is he just doesn't shoot a ton of 3-pointers. Averages just 4.5 3 attempts per game. So essentially, you need to go out there and hit 2 of 4. That's just not his game. He's not a 3-point shooter. Shooting just about 36% from downtown on the season. Going against a team that gives up the 6th least threes, 7th lowest 3-point percentage. I like that play. I would certainly include that. All right, let's look at Bam Adebayo. This is going to be an interesting one. Player rebounds under 10.5. Juiced on 4 of 6 books. Now, you get decent odds here in Caesars and DK, where this might actually become an official pick, because I love taking picks when I see Pinnacle juiced like crazy, because I think the market often will go in that direction. So Bam Adebayo against Atlanta. What makes it even harder, I guess, is that he had 17 against them a month ago. So it's tough when you're looking at that. But this is a tough number for Bam. It just is. It's not the best number. He averages 9.6 in the season, averaged 9.3 last year. Kevin Love is also out. He was playing a little of the 4 and the 5 this year. I don't know. I just don't think this is The best play, I think and Jimmy Butler is supposed to be out today as well. So who knows? Who knows? I don't think it's an easy play, but the odds are juicing it like crazy. I like the -125 on DK for a play that's already funky. I think there's a chance today things don't go pretty against Atlanta. Miami just isn't that team that can run up and down the court like that. And unless they're able to slow the pace of play, things might get difficult for them. Atlanta is middle of the road against centers this year. For rebounds allowed per game. Doesn't really matter the filter either. You could look at short game stints. You could look at 15 game stints. It's all really the same. Atlanta's really never in the top 10 allowed, never in the top 10 least allowed. They're always kind of right in the middle, just about 15 boards per game to opposing centers. Now, on average, can Bam Adebayo rack up 11 of those 15? That's up to you. You got to make that choice. I do like the under 10.5. I also really did like the Dennis Schroeder under 1.5 threes. I think those are fine options if you want to add it to Mostert and Tobias Harris. I do like this play as well. Clint Capella, same game, under 12.5 points. Listen, juiced on Pinnacle -151, juiced on Caesars, juiced on Fliff. Pretty good odds right here on DK and FanDuel. Clint Capella under in 3 of the last 4 games against Bam Adebayo, including 8 back on November 11th. And honestly, the Miami Heat giving up the least points per game to opposing centers. Bam's just a menace down there. Never, ever is given enough credit and props for just how good he is defensively. He's not a stat stuffer defensively, but he's such a good on the ball defender. And listen, the pick and roll today, I don't think it's going to work the way it's worked over the last several games for Clint Capella and Trae Young. So I do like the under 12.5 for -125 in DK and PrizePicks. Quickly running down kind of the best plays out of things I talked about. And this was honestly just me talking about it and what I liked, not necessarily the best plays overall, but Mostert to score, Tobias Harris first half over 10.5, Schroeder under 1.5 threes, Bam under 10.5 rebounds, Clint Capella under 12.5 points. Hopefully this video provides you enough value to put together some slips today. Hopefully you cash on your flex sixes. I'll put out an official one in a few hours. I'm going to wait for more of the board to open up. I have some different spots that I honestly want to see what the lines open up before I invest into PrizePicks and things like that. I will be posting my VIP betting picks. And despite losing the last 2 nights, it's been a tremendous run. I hadn't had 2 days losing in 22 straight days. Pretty wild run. And the run overall is pretty fantastic. It's still 67-37. That's a pretty good run. And 134-70 overall. That is nutty between NFL and NBA. Just under a 67% hit rate over the last 200 plus picks. That's why I tell people to zoom out. When you stare at one night and you see red, or you stare at 2 nights, you're like, oh, red and red. Zoom out, because zoom out, you go back the 2 nights prior to that, I went 9-2. You go back further for the week prior to that, I was 28-8. Zoom out further and you see 134-70. Zoom out further. You guys get the point, right? You get the point. Always zoom out. Don't take things one day at a time. You want to look at longer track records, which is why I post it all here on YouTube, on Twitter, and in Discord. And on Pickett, totally live and public, 24/7. Y'all can look that up anytime you want. Have a good day, my friends. $14.99 down below. Get the VIP picks. Use the optimizer anytime you see a play posted on Twitter and YouTube or in my Discord. MySpray.com. Type their name in the search bar. Find the best odds. Find the DFS sites. They're there. Let's get paid.